What's up, YouTube? Georgia Silver Hunter back, and you're joining us for part 2 of our big $650 mixed coin roll hunt. If you haven't caught part 1, I'll put a link to it up here in the upper right-hand corner where we hunted through $160 in dimes and $80 worth of nickels, and we had some really cool stuff, honestly, in both of those denominations. But we're moving on to these quarters for this hunt, and we're hopeful to find all kinds of stuff like West Point minted quarters, silver quarters, and all kinds of mint errors and varieties. So if you like quarter hunts, make sure you hang out with us because we're going to jump into these right now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get like 5 rolls of quarters open here right off the bat. And I pulled the 2 that I was most interested in getting into first, and that is this red roll and our Loomis wrapped roll. This is our only bank wrapped roll of the hunt, and it is going to be circulated, so I do want to see what's in that. Now, if you've never hunted quarters before, I do have a document in the description down below this video that has all the things that we'll be looking for today. I mentioned some of them in the intro clip. The ones I did leave out were our San Francisco business strikes and proofs. Of course, we'll also throw foreigns into that list. And for those of you that don't know, silver quarters were manufactured in 1964 and earlier and are made of 90%. However, our West Point minted quarters are typically the most valuable of the coins that we're going to find outside of some of the error coins that you might find in there if found in good enough condition. Like, for example, last year before, I found a cracked planchet 2022 Wilma Mankiller quarter that I got for like $280 for on eBay. So those errors can be worth quite a bit of money if you can find a good one. So far, I've just seen a lot of normal clad quarters in here. I think we're going to have a lot of 22s and 23s. Those are going to be the super shiny ones, like our Eleanor Roosevelt right here as a 2023 Philly. I do have a collection of books. I've filled out an entire set of Series 1 and Series 2 books. That's just what I've called them, each set. So call it Set 1 and Set 2 from 1965 all the way up through the current year, minus some of the 2023 Denver quarters and, of course, any of the new 2024 quarters. So we'll have our eye out for some of those in this hunt. Outside of that, we'll hang on to anything super shiny or really nice looking that may be upgrades for those books, but I'm not going to spend too much time talking about them because I have made lots and lots of videos where we have talked about those books. So anyway, that is 5 rolls here. I'm going to go off camera. Didn't see any silver. Nothing's jumping out at me, but as I go through, if we do find things that are interesting, I will be sure to pull you in and we'll talk all about them. So right off the bat here in roll number 1, we've come across our first little die chip error, and it is on the 2021 Philadelphia crossing the Delaware quarter. We've got a die chip up here on George Washington's hat. I'll put it under the scope to make it super easy for you guys to see. There it is right there. Big hunk of metal right there. Now, these used to be worth quite a bit of money when this quarter first came out. Now for these smaller die chips, they're worth less and less and less each and every day, like $1 or less, or in maybe some cases $1 or $2. Now there is still one die chip error you want to keep your eye out for. It's called the full crown, and it's where this die chip covers the entire hat, and that thing does go for 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks depending on the buyer. There's also a die clash error where you're looking for an indentation right here that's actually part of George's neck from the front of the coin. And last but not least, one of the things we look for is a DDR, where we've got some doubling down here in the sleeve of George. But on this guy, we've just got that little die chip, and we'll hang on to that as our first find. We're on roll 3, probably, I don't know, about 8 or 9 quarters in, and we've come across our next little die chip error that you may want to keep your eye out for in your hunts. And it is on the 2023 Philadelphia Eleanor Roosevelt, and it's the die chip right up here on the hat, as you can see. That is not part of the design and should not be there. And if you want the version of this, it's a little bit more valuable. There is one that has a die crack that runs down from the corner of the coin or the edge of the coin all the way down through the hat and then curves down into Eleanor's forehead here. Now, I have found that one as well. These are not that hard to find, and therefore I don't think all that valuable. But, you know, it's something to look for when you hunt your quarters. So So we've got rolls 13, 14, and 15 out in front of us, and we've come across our next find. It's something we haven't found in the last couple of quarter hunts, but it is a San Francisco business strike. Now, there's two types of San Francisco minted quarters. There are business strikes, which look like this. It's a matte finish, right? It's all metallic. There are no frosted details on it. And then there's proofs, which are in fact mirror finish with like a frosted head and frosted lettering both on the front and the back. The proofs stand out like a sore thumb, and you always want to check that edge to look for a solid gray or silver edge, because if it's solid gray or silver, then you know you've got a 90% silver or even a 99% silver proof. This is just a San Francisco matte business strike. South Dakota, Mount Rushmore, 2013. Maybe the first one of these I've ever found. I usually find a lot of 2017s and a lot of 2018s. Now, I do have a little stockpile of shiny quarters that might be upgrades for my books, and I've started a little stash of bicentennial quarters, both Philadelphia and Denver over there. But other than that, it's been a pretty slow hunt, but I'll take the San Francisco business strike. So this is rolls 14 and 15 since I last brought you in. 13 produced our San Francisco business strike. And we actually had these guys literally back to back. This is one of the new 2023 Philadelphia Marietta Tall Chiefs with the die chip up here in, I don't know what you call this, the hat, the feathers. Not sure what that is. We'll look at that under the scope here in just a second. And we have found one of the 2021 Philadelphia crossing the Delaware. And this is one of the larger DDR errors I've seen in that cuff link down there, in that cuff area. You can actually see it right here without the need of a scope, but I'll put it under the scope here so you can see it. So let's take a look at that first. Right here, this big raised metal here, not supposed to be there. Considered a double die reverse. So we'll put that up here next to our business strike. And then the Tall Chief, oh, where'd my quarter go? Ran away. Here it is. That Tall Chief error right there. It's pretty minor die chip. You can find this in all kinds of different sizes. But you can see right here between these little feathers coming out of the cap, whatever these things are called, we've got a big old hunk of metal that's not supposed to be there. So we will also put that on the board as a find, and I'll get into some eBay comps for all of these things at the end of the video. So we just grabbed one more roll here off the end, roll number 16, and got it laid out, and we got surprised by a super shiny edge here, but again, check that reading. It's a little bit tighter. I think we're going to have Canadian. And you guys, if you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you know my favorite little device to use to find non-silver, silvery looking things is rare earth magnets. We've got ourselves a Canadian quarter. Now, if I get the magnets off, get off there, magnet. There we go. We've got ourselves a 1969 Canadian quarter. Looks like it's like nickel-plated steel or something like that. Steel-plated nickel, I'm not sure which way it goes. But it's our first foreign of the hunt. I believe this is getting through roll number 20, and we have our next little die chip error. It's on the 2023 Philadelphia Bessie Coleman. And we've got a die chip right here in the bottom of the biplane. You can see it right here next to my thumbnail. I'll put it under the scope to make it a little easier to see. Again, not a high dollar error here, but just something to look for to make your hunts a little bit more interesting. That die chip can show up here. I've seen it up here on the side of the wing. I've seen it run down this side of the wing. I've even seen die chips over in the fingers as well. So keep an eye out for those. We'll put this on the board as another die chip find. So I'm getting rolls 21, 2, 3, and 4 rolled out here, and you hate to see this when you are unwrapping some customer wrapped quarters. This roll, we happen to get a couple of nickels. Let's see what we got, see if they're any good. They look like they're modern, so probably not keepers. Got ourselves a 2022 Philly and a 2023 Philly. So not a nickel hunt, so we don't want to see these. So we just lost 20 cents per coin in these two. And we'll just put them up here to keep track of them and keep on hunting. So getting into roll number 21, the coin I want to show you is under the scope. And we've found these in other videos, but it's the first time I've found one of these in probably the last couple of months. It is the 2023 Philadelphia Kanaka Ole. And it's the die chip on top of the mountain, or volcano as it may be. And it's this big old hunk of metal up there that kind of connects the top of the mountain to the bottom of the F. When these quarters first came out, this was by far the more valuable of all the die chips that had been found. A lot of times you can find, and even this coin has it, some die chips and things down here in the K and the A of Kanaka. But this one's, if you're trying to make a buck or 50 cents or $1.50 or something like that, we'll check eBay at the end off of a quarter. This is one you can look for. So we're getting down here towards the end. I've got, I think this is rolls 26, 27, 28, and 29 out, and we've unfortunately found another misstuffed roll here. We've got a 2014 Philly to go up with our other 3 nickels. But something else jumped out of here that just looked kind of interesting when I spread them out here. I don't know if I've ever seen a George Washington head that's been counterstruck with an M like that before. Pretty cool. Definitely not post-mint damage. Somebody did this with a punching tool, but kind of neat. I'll throw it up on the board as a miscellaneous find. So we have reached the end of our hunt, and I'm going to go through all of our finds, and if I find some eBay comps, I'll throw them up on the screen, but off the cuff, just from looking earlier, I'll try to let you know what I saw as I was looking through eBay. Trust the picture, not the words that I am saying. So we'll start down here in the bottom. We did get a couple of book upgrades. This 2009 Puerto Rico Denver is going to be an upgrade. We did find a really nice 2010 California Yosemite Philadelphia that's an upgrade. And this 2004 Florida that was a Denver will also be an upgrade for our books. I'm not going to show punching those down. You guys have seen my albums and all my previous videos, and if you haven't, you can check out my Hunt and Fill series and watch me fill those from the beginning if you like. And if I remember, I'll put a little card right about there so you can watch it from the beginning if you're interested. Starting over here, we did get that little counter stamp 1984. I'm probably going to just toss this back, but I thought it was interesting, so I set it aside. We did get some bicentennials. We got 4 Phillies. We got 4 Denvers. The Denvers were checked for the very valuable double die obverse. Still on my bucket list. Still haven't found it. So I'll probably hang on to 1 or 2 of these Denvers. The rest will go back just because they're not that nice. And I've already got tons of rolls of Philadelphias. We did get shorted by 3 quarters. We got 3 nickels stuffed throughout our rolls. We did get our 1 1969 Canadian foreign. Unfortunately, not the silver variety. Now, this coin is pretty nice. I'll flip this up and hang on to it. The San Francisco Business Strike 2013 is really, really nice, and we will put that aside. We had our Bessie Coleman with the die chip on the airplane. I'm going to say this is no more than, $1 or $2. It's not a very big die chip, and usually these smaller die chips don't go for all that much money. But like I said, if I find some comps, I'll throw them on the screen. If it's more than that, sorry, but last time I looked, I thought they were pretty cheap. Now, I was surprised by the Marietta Chief die chips. I ended up finding a ton of them with that die chip there in the little hat, the little feather she's got. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them in that little bet of 41 customer wrapped rolls. Now, these I saw going for $2, $3, $4 a pop on eBay, especially for the nicer looking ones. So I may just hang on to those and throw them in a tube. I don't think they're going to get more valuable over time, but I'm also at this stage probably not going to try to sell them onesie-twosie. Maybe I'll make a whole tube and try to sell them all at once. We had a couple of different crossing the Delaware errors. This one was the DDR in the cuff, and I might not have shown you this one as we went through it. No, we did. I showed you this one. This was one of the larger DDRs that I've seen in the past on this quarter, and I found one other one that I didn't bring you in for because we'd already covered it. Where's that cuff? Where'd you go? There it is. That DDR is more down here in the far end of the cuff. This one's also on Variety Vista, but I did find 2 of those. And this is one of those quarters that I haven't been able to find very good comps for on eBay. We had a couple of the Eleanor Roosevelts. I did show you this one under the scope earlier. It's the die chip up there on the hat. Again, I'm thinking no more than $1 or $2 on eBay. Same thing goes here with the Kanaka Ole. We do have that little die chip on the mountain. I know when this first came out, especially for the BU quarters, this was going for a couple, $4 or $5. It may have come down since then. And last but not least, we've got the die chips up here in the Crossing the Delaware George Washington hat. Again, $1 or $2 on these for the most part, unless that die chip is really, really big. In our last quarter hunt, we found the half crown error that was valued at about $12.99. And of course, if you get lucky and you get one of these, and one of my viewers sent this to me, and you can find that full crown, this is what it looks like. These are still going for $30, $40, $50, $60, depending on the quality of the coin and if you find the right buyer on eBay. So always keep your eye out for this guy. I have personally never found one, so I really appreciate getting this one in the mail. So with that, we are going to wrap up our quarter hunt. It was a lot of fun. Sorry I couldn't fit it all into a single video, but with the 30 plus minutes of footage we already had with those nickels and dimes, I thought it would be better if we broke this into 2 videos. If you like me breaking these up, or if you like the longer videos or the shorter videos, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know how your hunts are going as well. I know some of these die chips get a little bit old, but they're what we look for these days when we look at quarters, because there's so many more modern quarters in there. And it's also nice to find some of the newer ones that we don't cover in every video. If you're new to the channel and you like coin roll hunts, I do a whole lot of them, and I have been live streaming a bit more of late. Make sure you do click on that subscribe button, and then click that little bell and select all so you get notified every time I go live and whenever I drop a video. I am pretty bad about posting a schedule. A lot of times I go live just randomly in the evening on a Thursday or Friday night, sometimes on a Wednesday night. It just really depends on when I have time. So without that alert bell, you won't know. Special shout out to all my channel members. I really do appreciate you guys donating to the channel each and every month. I really, really appreciate it. And as a member, you do get to see all my videos at least a couple hours early to a day earlier than everybody else. So if that's interesting for you, make sure you check out memberships. I also have a bunch of stuff linked down below for the equipment that I use. If you're new to coin roll hunting, make sure you check that out. I've mentioned this in previous videos, but I'm heading to Las Vegas for the next 5 or 6 days, so this will be the last video you see from me for probably the better part of 10 to 14 days. So I'm doing okay. I'm just in Las Vegas having a good time. So look for me when I return. If you're out in the Vegas area, I'm staying at Harrah's over the April, whatever it is, 24th, 25th, 26th weekend. I will be checking my YouTube channel throughout. So if you're in the Vegas area and you happen to be near Harrah's, stop by. Ping me on YouTube, maybe I'll find you. So with that said, you guys take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.